The Kohinoor does not need an introduction. It is not just a diamond, it is the diamond. 105 carats of conquest and colonialism. It was born from the mines of Golconda, passed through empires and then stolen by the British. For nearly 2 centuries, the UK has held it tightly. They polished it, recut it and placed it on the heads of queens, as if the Kohinoor was simply theirs. But now, for the first time, the British have changed their tune. Suddenly, they're talking about sharing the Kohinoor, not returning it, not apologizing for stealing it, just sharing it. The suggestion was made by Lisa Nandi, the UK Secretary of State for Culture. She is a British Minister of Indian origin. Nandi was in New Delhi for an official visit. India and the UK are talking about cooperation on cultural artifacts. And that's where she said this.
We've been talking between the UK and India for quite some time about the way that we think we can collaborate much more closely together to make sure that people both in the UK and in India can benefit from and have access to many of the cultural artefacts that stem back to the time, very different era. That's something that I've discussed with my counterpart.
She was asked about the Kohinoor and she acknowledged that it was part of the talks. So the UK is talking about a collaboration. It's not clear what this will entail, but here's a quick primer first. Like I said, the Kohinoor was mined in Golconda. Originally, it was around 191 carats. It went from Mughal emperors to Persian invaders, from Afghan rulers to Sikh kings. Then in 1849 came the British. At the end of the Second Anglo-Sikh War, the British East India Company defeated the Sikh Empire. They forced a treaty on the boy king, Dalip Singh. He was just 10 years old. One of the terms was handing over the Kohinoor. The diamond was shipped off to London. Queen Victoria had it recut and set into her crown. And ever since, it has lived in the Tower of London, a colonial trophy mistaken for national heritage. For decades, Indian governments have petitioned for its return. They asked the UK to return the Kohinoor, but London always had the same answer. The diamond is legally theirs. That's what they said. So what explains the change in tone now? The answer, just like the diamond, has many facets. The first is economy. The UK is scrambling to stay relevant in a post-Brexit world. Their economy is sluggish. They need new partners and new deals, and India is one of them. Negotiations for a free trade agreement have been going on since 2022, but they've been bumpy, delayed by political chaos and lingering mistrust. But the Labour government under Keir Starmer wants to reset the clock. So they're using culture as currency. They're offering symbolic gestures like cultural collaboration on artifacts. It costs very little in reality, but it may go a long way in building goodwill, or so they hope. The second is optics. King Charles was coronated in 2023. At this event, the royal family made a surprising choice. They left the Kohinoor out of Queen Camilla's crown. And there were a few reasons for this. One, of course, is to avoid diplomatic issues with India. The other is a broader post-colonial scrutiny. The UK is facing music over its colonial plunder. Its museums are the biggest loot houses in the world. Because let's be honest, if the British Museum starts returning colonial artifacts, it would have nothing left. The world wants the UK to repatriate artifacts like the Kohinoor, or the Benin bronzes, or the Elgin marbles. So Britain is now offering compromises, like sharing the Kohinoor. What should India make of it? Well, this might be the start of something, or it might be a well-timed distraction. Either way, one thing is quite certain. Talking about sharing the Kohinoor is not the same as returning it. It's a step forward, yes, but not far enough, because you cannot share what you stole. You can only give it back. Until then, the Kohinoor is not just a diamond. It is a reminder that you cannot polish away the past, no matter how brilliant the diamond is cut.